All right, guys. Hey, it's Dean. Welcome to Manful Yoga. This is our fourth episode from our Movember series for men's mental well-being. I'm really excited to do these because we talk about something that I don't normally talk about, which is going beyond fitness, going beyond physical fitness, going beyond things like diet, and really getting deeper into other aspects of health. And in this case, talking about the importance of mental and emotional well-being and some practices that you can use to improve that area. Now, I'm doing this because Movember's theme this year is to help with men's mental well-being and suicide prevention. And in light of the pandemic that's been happening the last year and a half, this is an even bigger issue than it's ever been. So I'm going to be talking in this episode about the importance of self-care and basically taking care of yourself, doing things on your own to proactively and reactively improve your overall health and your happiness, from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or any other word you can think of, but basically looking at health as a whole and understanding what goes into that, making time for those activities. So specifically in this video, because this is my fourth take of this video. I've done a lot of these, and I trimmed it up a lot because I wanted to make it, about 10 minutes long. I don't want to talk to you for 25 minutes here. So if you want to see the full version of this video, go to manfulyoga.com/blog to check it out. In this video specifically, I'm going to be talking about what I do on a daily basis for self-care. I'm going to talk about my definition of self-care, how I think about it versus the official definition of self-care. I'm going to talking about the importance of looking at self-care as necessary instead of optional. And I'm also going to give you my 3 biggest tips to implementing self-care habits in your own life. So a lot of really helpful and hopefully interesting information in this little video. And also, as part of this series, we are doing a fundraiser to bring awareness to men's health. We set a goal to raise $10,000 for the Movember organization. We're at about half of that goal right now, so I invite you to contribute. It's going all through the month of November 2021. We'll be matching 50% of donations up to $5,000 and donating 5% of our monthly sales. This episode is actually being sponsored by Caldera Lab. They've donated $1,000 to our fundraiser. So big thank you to those guys at Caldera Lab. They're also giving us a special on their The Good serum, which is something that I use on a nightly basis. It's part of my own self-care evening routine. You can get 30% savings and learn more about that at manfulyoga.com/Caldera. And I highly recommend you check it out. Really great product, awesome company. All right, so let's get into this. There's a lot of ways to think about self-care, and there's a lot of different actions that can be thought of as self-care. But the basic idea here is that you're doing something to take care of yourself without being directed by a doctor or something like that. It's something that you do with the tools and the knowledge that you have available to yourself to be healthy, to be happy, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, or any other type of, type of wellness. So a few things I want you to think about this. Having the ability to listen to yourself and understand your needs, because this is going well beyond just the basic aspects of physical well-being. This isn't just, and while this is important, these things are important, eating, sleeping, exercise, these are just one aspect of overall well-being. You're not going to necessarily have great mental and emotional fitness if all you do is work on your diet, exercise regularly, and sleep well. Definitely going to help, but these are other aspects of health, our well-being, that have to be addressed. So being able to listen to yourself and understand your needs. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the video because it was a process that was really interesting to me and really helpful once I started doing it. We also want to reinforce the belief that taking time to take care of yourself isn't just good or optional, but it's necessary. If we really want to move beyond the point of just surviving and get into a really happy, really healthy life, we have to think about self-care as a non-negotiable part of our lifestyle. And I'll tell you more about how to do that later on. And then one other thing to think about, understanding that there is more to your well-being than diet and exercise. And again, just just explicitly saying that here because being healthy is more than just doing healthy things for your body. It's you have a mind, you have emotions, you have all these other aspects of you that need to be taken care of. So what is self-care? I looked up the definition of self-care, making a video about self-care, so I thought it'd be a good idea. The official definition of self-care has to do with providing care to yourself without a healthcare professional, using your knowledge and tools available to you to promote health, prevent disease, and to cope with illness or disability. And to me, that just felt like an incomplete definition, where it wasn't the way that I thought of self-care. And self-care is something very important to my life. It's a huge part of my life. I have built my business and I've built my social media platforms and my YouTube channel. I've built a lot of that around things that I need to do in order to maintain my mental, my self-care. Things that go into that, like working out, processing my thoughts, processing emotions. Some of my best blogs and some of my best pieces, I think, have come from me banging my head against a computer and just writing things out until I got really clear with myself. So I've done a lot to develop my own self-care practices, and I like to think of them than more than that official definition. To me, it's about living a healthy lifestyle, doing what I can both proactively and reactively in order to be healthy and happy. It's a wide scope of activities. It's not just exercising or eating healthy. Self-care can also include vegging out and watching TV for 2 hours. As long as you immerse yourself in it and you enjoy it and you do it with the goal of just relaxing and so there's more to healthcare than just healthy things. It's a wide range of activities, and the goal is just contributing to your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. It can be improving physical fitness, managing stress, getting to root causes of stress, giving your body and mind sustenance. Again, I think it's really important to also process emotions and process your thoughts, to be inquisitive with how you're feeling and try to understand why you're upset and to be able to experience that emotion. And that's not something that you learn about when you're, when you're just doing physical fitness. You have to go beyond that. So anyways, self-care, more than just working out, more than just eating well, more than just sleeping well. It's also taking care of what's going on between your head. I think more and more, and I put this out in the first video that I put in the series, but I talked about how more and more we are learning that major diseases, that heart disease, that cancer is being caused. That stress itself, just day-to-day stress, is causing these issues, is a major factor, more than we thought before. We're realizing that it's not just unhealthy lifestyles that are creating these diseases. It's also unhealthy mental and emotional patterns that are leading to this. So we need to think of this as more than just working out. All right, moving on. I mentioned I want to talk about some of the things I do for daily self-care, so I'm going to talk about that now. And these are things that I do on a daily or regular basis to help with, again, not just my physical health, but also my mental health as well. So I have a morning routine, which I use mostly for getting my head set, but also for getting food, making sure I'm eating well, making sure I'm not stressing myself in the morning. That includes things like making myself a smoothie, getting coffee, making food, getting ready for the day, making sure I have a to-do list, not checking social media, not checking my email first thing in the morning because I want to be able to set what I want to do for the day without external influence. Exercise, something that I do nearly every day. Sometimes it's a scheduled workout. Sometimes it is a reactive workout in a sense that I'm doing something to relieve problem areas. Like if I have excessively sore areas, or maybe my back hurts from something, or maybe my shoulder hurts, then I'm doing things specific to what my body needs. But the point is I'm doing something to take care of my body. And while I'm doing that, I'm usually immersing myself in it so that there's a mental stress component to it as well. If you're doing your workout and you're watching TV while you're doing it, or you're you're not immersed in it, then you're not getting as much as you can out of it. And then I have an evening routine, and this is where I do a lot of winding down. This is where I process my thoughts. This is where I take care of myself, relieve stress, so that when I get into my bed, I am ready to sleep. I'm not processing thoughts. My mind isn't going in circles. I'm ready to sleep. I'm exhausted, and I've gotten through stress, and I'm just ready to go to sleep. And sleep, really important, making sure that you're sleeping, ideally 8.5 hours a night. And if you're working out a lot, you might need more than that. You might need 9.5, 10 hours. And then something that has been really helpful to me that I've only recently started doing was just asking myself what I needed at the end of the day. So going beyond, just those physical things, but asking myself, what do I need tomorrow? What am I missing? And it actually took me a really long time to develop the ability to respond honestly. I hadn't practiced asking myself what I needed, and so much of my answers for that had to do with a logical response. And I just didn't have the gut ability to say, this is what I need tomorrow. And sometimes I need a break, but sometimes I need to work. Sometimes I feel, I really need to work on this project tomorrow, or tomorrow I really need to go on a hike. That's what I need. I need to see some trees. I need to see some water. But asking myself what I needed and then making a plan to give it to myself, that was something that was really important to me and has really helped me out in the last few months. And another part of that, processing my emotions. Just at the end of the night, if I'm stressed about something, really just trying to experience that emotion, to peel it back and ask myself questions and get curious about that emotion. Because in order to move past an emotion, you have to experience it. You can't just cover it up. I used to think that stress relief had to do with just breathing through things until the stress went away. And to some extent that is helpful for sure, but that doesn't make it go away. That just makes it temporarily go into a hole, but it doesn't resolve the stress. So in order to really get to the root of stress, root of problems, you have to experience the emotions behind them, and then you move forward. That's kind of just what happens. But if you ignore it, or if you ruminate on it and you kind of get trapped in the circle of just thinking over it over and over again, it doesn't get better. So those are just a few things that I found really helpful with my own self-care. And now I want to give you 3 tips, my 3 best tips for starting to implement more self-care in your own life. And I also want to say that if your goal is to rise above the standards of survival and really strive for a higher level of health and happiness, then you need to stop thinking about self-care as optional. This needs to be something that is a non-negotiable priority. And I'm willing to bet that if you take a look at your schedule and you examine what you're doing with your time, you're probably going to be able to find some free time. You're going to say, you know what, maybe I don't need 30 minutes of social media here, or maybe I don't have to watch TV for an hour at the end of the night, or 2 hours. Maybe I don't have to scroll in bed. So normally I don't like to do that. I don't like to tell you that, hey, you need to take a look at your life and do something. But if you need that, if that's helpful, then this is me urging you to take a look at how you're spending your time and really be honest with yourself and say, could I be using this time to do things that are more important to me? All right. Now, my 3 tips. Number 1, if you want to start living a healthier lifestyle, you need to do things that you want to do. Okay. So I don't want you to force yourself to do something that you think you should be doing. Rather, find something that you want to do, that you really want to do, and work on that, instead of doing something you don't really want to do. Second part, when you're getting started, make it as easy as possible. Find the easiest possible way of fulfilling that habit and do it. And don't start the goal with doing an hour of yoga every day. Instead, I want you to just think, I'm going to lay out my yoga mat and stand on it. And that can actually help. That's going to help you build that habit. What we really need to do is think about, how do I build this consistency, and how do I slowly build on top of that consistency? Because this isn't just a short-term goal. This is something that we want to do for the rest of our lives. So you have your entire life to build these habits and implement them. You don't have to start it all at once. And if you do start it all at once, you're probably going to fail within 2 weeks. Okay. So Make it easy when you get started. And then my third tip is to make sure that you have support, that you make sure that you have the people in your life are on board with this. You need to be able to convey the importance of these activities and how they fit into your overall life goals with people around you. Just for an example, for me, when I started working out, when I started lifting weights again for the first time in a year, or first time in years, and actually getting back into a program, I had a conversation with my wife and said, hey, I'm going to be starting to lift weights again. This is really important to me. This is really important to my image, to my business. I would like your support so that I can work out on 3 days per week. And you just know that I'm going to be working out and I'm going to be a little later on those days. So you might need to get, people on board in your life in order to do this. And it's going to make it a lot easier. And if you have more questions and you're looking for more advice on how to implement self-care habits into your life, I have 2 huge book recommendations. The first is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's an amazing book. Highly recommend it. And the second one is Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. And I bought that book thinking I already knew everything there was about habits, and that book is just amazing. I love that book. So both of those books are amazing tools. I'd recommend just buying them both and reading them as quickly as you can, because you're really going to get a ton out of those. All right, guys. That's all that I wanted to cover in this video. Again, I don't want to make this too long. I hope you found some useful nuggets in this video. If you have any questions or comments, maybe you want to talk to me about something that you do for your own self-care, leave it in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. Again, we are raising money for the Movember fundraiser. Please consider donating. We're almost at $5,000 as of this video. Again, I'll be matching 50% of those donations up to $5,000. Our goal is to raise $10,000. I hope you can help. There's more info on the fundraiser in the description here. And I also want to give a big thank you to Caldera Lab for donating $1,000 to our fundraiser for helping to sponsor this video. And if you haven't already tried them out, if you're looking for a skincare serum, this is something that I personally use, something that I was initially like, wait, no way. There's no way this does anything. And I was shocked. It actually did a lot. Noticeable improvements. Very happy with it. Something that I use every night. Kind of just a way for me to take care of myself and to say, hey, taking care of myself is important. And just doing this little 30-second habit is a way for me to say that it's important and to just build that importance. So highly recommend it. Description, you'll find a link, or just go to manfulyoga.com/Caldera for a special 30% savings. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you're having a great week. I hope you really enjoyed this series. Please be sure to check out the other videos in this series. We've got 4 total. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like this video if you found it helpful. Again, leave a comment if you want to say something about your own, self-care habits, or ask a question. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you on another video really soon. Bye-bye.